Hey everyone! Happy New Year! This is our first video for 2021. I'm so excited. So we are live on our YouTube channel and on one of my Facebook pages. So I'm very excited to learn how to stream to two different places. So there's some technical difficulty. You'll just have to bear with me. But today I'm going to be making some dog scarves. These were the little Christmas ones I had made. So of course we got to move on to Valentine's Day. So I just thought I would show you how we do this. They're very easy. They're fun. It's a great project. You could sell this item and make it a little side business. You could donate them, all kinds of fun stuff. I'm just making some for my two dogs, and I usually have to make some for my sister's dog and the neighbors and a couple other family friend dogs. So what you're going to need, depending on your dog, now my dogs are medium-sized dogs. So they are about, I'd say they're about 40-pound dogs. So the size that I'm using, this measures, and you'll want to measure, you'll get a tape measure around their neck. So it's going to be about 13 and a half around the neck, and then from the fold to the point, this is 7 and a half. So if you have a smaller dog, you're definitely going to have to, and you're just going to make the same pattern. I would just, fold in the edges and just make it a little smaller. Now, how I am doing mine is I have a little opening here. So I slide their collar right through the little band here, and then it wraps around their collar. So you have to make sure that the buckle of their collar, because some are bulkier than others, will fit through. Because when I first did it, it didn't fit through. So I had to go back to the drawing board. So just be aware of that. And then you don't want it to overlap. You have to have the buckle, sitting outside. So you don't want it to be too long. So I would kind of gauge what you're going to make based on the dog's collar size, the length of it. So mine on the back, I have this folded over, and this is plenty deep enough. So mine is 2¼ is how deep that is. So you're going to need, now you can do this all out of the same fabric, but just usually your novelty print is probably going to cost more than a solid, especially depending on what you're using. If you use, let's say you use a team print, something that's a licensed pattern, that's definitely going to be more expensive than a solid or something. So I usually just back it with a solid and just, cut one of these. So since I already know I'm making two, I'm going to go ahead and lay this out. And I'm going to go ahead and angle the camera down so you can see my workspace and what I'm doing. So I'm using black, and I've got this folded in half. So I've got two layers here. And I'm just going to lay this on top and cheat a little bit and just cut it all at the same time, because it just speeds up the process. Now, I do want to point out that depending on what your pattern is, you have a direction. So I have hearts. The hearts have a top and a bottom. So you cannot just take your pattern piece and lay it on there whichever way you want to. So you definitely need to make sure that the hearts, or whatever the pattern is going in the right direction. So this is the top of the scarf. This is the bottom. So our hearts are in the right direction. Now, just to give you an example, this is one that I made for Christmas. Now, my dog on here, he's kind of like all over the place. There's some upside, like right next to it. We've got one upside down, one right side up. And the candy canes, two different directions. So this one, it doesn't really matter. But I always like to point out, if you are using anything that has a direction, make sure you cut it correctly. Because as I tell the girls here at the shop, when I tell you things, I'm trying to save you from making mistakes that I have already made. I have been sewing for many years, since I started when I was in middle school. But honestly, for the most part, I have taught myself. And I'll tell you how I've taught myself is because I've made a lot of mistakes and had to fix them. So try to, and I'm definitely not free of making mistakes, but not as often. And now I know what to look for, but you know, things happen. So I'm just going to pin these on here. I'm actually going to move my pattern. I've just got this right on the selvage edge. So it looks pretty straight. So I'm just going to just cut that right on the edge. That way. And I have got my pattern folded in. I shortened it just a little bit, but then when I'm making one for a smaller dog, I just fold the edges in a little bit more. So I'm cutting through 4 layers right now because I'm going to make 2 of these. You don't necessarily have to do that, but if you are wanting to make multiples of these, great way to save some time. Cut it all at once. All right, let's fold this up, get it out of the way. Take our pattern off. Okay, so I want 1 lining and 1 of my outer print, and I'm going to, it's hard to tell on the solid which side is the right or the wrong side, but I'm going to just flip this over because I want the wrong side of the pretty fabric facing down. So you have your right side and then this wrong side. And I'm just going to put a couple pins. I'm not big on pinning. Some people want to pin every inch of something. I just think that slows you down. And honestly, I'm just kind of pinning this to show you all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave an opening, you know, from here to here. Just eyeball it. It doesn't have to be, you know, a major opening. And if you want to put a pin to create your start and stopping point. So I've got 2 pins right there. So I'm going to start here and go all the way around. And then I'll stop at my other one and then we'll turn it. So go over here to the sewing machine. And when I get to my corner, I'm going to put the needle down in the material and then raise your presser foot slightly and swing it from the other direction. And as I get to each little corner, I'm going to do that. Okay, so you can see my stitch line. I'm just using the edge of the presser foot as my guide. I am going to cut across this. I just kind of, because I'm going to turn that, I want to push that point off so I trim that off. So now I'm going to cut this corner too, trim these at the top, each corner. So you can see it's, now I'm going to turn it right side out. I need to make sure my iron is still hot. Maybe he goes to sleep, so I gotta wake it back up. And I'm going to gently use my scissors to push out the point. They do make tools called a point turner. I have a bad habit. They tell you not to do this because you can push a hole through your fabric. So just be very careful. Just be very gentle, but this is handy for me, so I just use my scissors. Okay, so I'm going to iron this real fast. I'm pushing out this, I want that corner really good. Okay, let me iron this really quick. Okay, so got it pressed real nice. As you see, there's an opening right here. That's where I turned it, so we need to close that. But that is actually going to get closed. Do this a couple different ways. We have to sew across here when we fold this, so it will actually get closed when you stitch that down. So you don't have to actually close it right this second. So what I am going to do is I'm going to just do a little close stitch just to kind of give this a nice finished edge. Plus when I wash the bandana, it keeps it together. It doesn't get all wonky as much. So I'm just going to start here. I'm not going across the top because I'm going to wait till I fold that over. But I'm just going to go right around the edge. And we want to trim our threads. Okay. So you'll just fold this over. So these corners will be like this. Now, if you have to go back and adjust this, if the buckles on your dog's collar are a little bit bigger, and you adjust it, and then this corner is sticking out, just take this and turn it under, and then you can top stitch that along the seam. If you need to fold it, if you get it where it just needs to be a little bit thicker, it's not the end of the world. You don't have to make a new one. So I'm going to pin this. And as I sew this, this is going to close that little opening where I turned it. Again, saving a step. We don't have to stitch it closed because we're going to do that right now. Okay. I've got to rethread something. This machine wants to get out of a little one of the hooks for some reason. Okay, so I'm just going to sew right across here, close up our band. You do want to do a little back stitch, make sure it gets sewn closed, because you'll be taking it on and off. You don't want it to come undone as you do that. Trimming my little threads. And ta-da! We have our cute little holiday dog bandana. So now the collar will slide right through this little casing we just created. So this is the back side. Now, if you wanted to get decorative, you could certainly put like another print on this. This could just be like an accent, if it was coordinating. So you could possibly make it reversible if you wanted to get a little funky with it. You can also personalize it, put the dog's name here. You can embroider that or with a vinyl heat press, whatever you want to do. But it's really fun. Then you can have your dog have all kinds of holiday scarves. I made one that said birthday girl on it for one of my dogs. So the other one hasn't had a birthday yet, but his birthday is actually in February. So his scarf might be a birthday one too. I'm not sure. But I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. I can help you with any, if you have any trouble making it or whatnot. But thanks for joining me, and thanks for being on my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. If you're new to my YouTube channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to get notified for when I have another video, just hit the little bell icon and it'll send you an email when I have a new video out. So have a great day, and I hope you have enjoyed making a dog scarf with me.